Hey guys, this was my 2023 Tulsa Tough experience. I'm a Cat 3. This was my first time doing it this whole weekend. The fields were pretty big. I think this field was around 118 riders, so biggest field I've ever done. And going into this race, I was pretty nervous as Tulsa Tough has a pretty big reputation for being a crash fest, no matter what category you're in. So the nerves were pretty high. But for this race going in, I knew I had to have good staging. That's the biggest thing anyone's told me, is if you start in the front, likely you're going to end near the front, where if you start in the back, it can be very difficult to move up. This was Friday, which was the most technical crit. They slightly changed it from last year because there were too many crashes last year, but still with an 8 turn course, it was very technical. So that's why starting in the front was really important for this race. So I'll walk you guys through a lap. We just passed a downhill. There's a slight downhill, and then I think the entire course just is a gradual uphill at some parts. So you kind of get that downhill on the back straight. But yeah, there really weren't too many places to move up. There's 4 straightaways that you can kind of move up on. Last year there were 2, so it is a bit easier. But as you can see, right when we started, it's single file. Um, yeah, so it's stretched out. Out of the turns, I'm having to do a lot. People on the front are really pushing the pace. Because one lap was just around 2 minutes. And I think it was slightly over a mile for the course. Oh, sorry. It was a bit under a mile actually. But yeah, so we're gonna fast forward here. There were a few crashes behind me. I heard all the carnage, but you're gonna see a crash in front of me where I actually have to take a free lap. And normally, I've never really taken a free lap before, and I know I was pretty nervous about this, but there was really nothing to be worried about. I was just back in the race fine. I just lose some important positioning, but really, other than that, it was fine. Um, the race was already pretty stretched out, so I didn't really have to worry too hard. I maybe slotted it to 40 or 50th wheel, where here I think I might be in the top 20, top 30. As you can see, there are 2 guys off the front right now, but they're going to get caught pretty soon. This is just going to come down to a field sprint, but should be coming up here. Because there's already been crashes, people are pretty cagey and nervous, very twitchy. I think that's what happened here. Just someone, kind of double dipped in a corner, kind of like started cornering, then kind of went straight a little bit and cornered again. Kind of see here 2 people cross wheels. Yeah, it just comes out of nowhere. And I have to decelerate from like 30 miles an hour to 0 in like 10 meters. Um, this guy on the right picks up his bike, drops his glasses, um, then picks up his glasses and drops his bike. He's not having a good time. But yeah, there were probably maybe 20 riders caught up in this, maybe some more. But yeah, they'd already been pulling a lot of people. So yeah, we're back at the pit. I didn't have any problem with my bike. Just needed to take the free lap because I had to put a foot down and was stuck behind the crash. But I don't know what this guy in front of there is doing. But yeah, just waiting for the peloton to come around. There's the leader, one dude off the front. He was really strong the whole weekend. I think he might have podiumed on the other 2 days. But yeah, so the field comes around. It's really small already. I think they did put us towards the front actually, because I know that's just not it, but we're it might be like 30 to 40 people from 120, really diminished field. Um, but kind of have to get back on here. I was making sure not to panic too much, but as you can see, my heart rate already up into the 196. I think I averaged 197 heart rate for this entire race with a max of 210. So really, it was really up there. Um, but yeah, I wasn't too worried. I was just this. I in my head I was like, I need to move up, and this is really gonna see if I can move up. But luckily, there was kind of a lull in the pace. So if it was strung out, it would have been a lot harder to move up. But I was kind of able to just take good corners, and not have to brake and kind of pedal through these. But as you can see, just really not doing that much watts, like 100 right now, and I'm just passing people. Like I already just made up 25, 30 positions, just by having more speed through these corners, the last corner. But yeah, it looks like everything is just really not too fast as we're taking corners like 3, 4 riders wide. I think there's still a rider off the front. He was up to like 20 seconds, but I think, yeah, he ended up getting caught. But I'm kind of out in the wind here on the outside. But, um, yeah, I'm already pretty close to the front. This is ideal position right here. I think I get a little bit too close to the front, which is kind of unfortunate. Because that ends up what kind of happens to me at the end. I kind of get swarmed, and I was already a bit nervous after the crashes, so I kind of let people pass me, which wasn't the smartest idea. I probably should have been a bit more aggressive, and I could have held better position. But yeah, I ended up finishing, or well, you'll see. But I don't do too bad for a 120 person race, especially my first time at Tulsa. But as you can see, like these, I'm letting people on the outside pass me through the corners. Like I'm not taking the best lines, kind of have to accelerate. Yeah, but right here I think is where I move too much up. It's like it gets super like wide, and because no one's pulling on the front. But oh, sorry. Um, but yeah, so now it's someone kind of takes over on the front, and it's more single file. Um, yeah, I was elbowing this guy in front of me for position for a while. He was pretty aggressive, for one wheel, but yeah. And right now I just fast forwarded. As you can see on the right, there was like 30 people in the pit. There was a big crash behind me. Luckily, I was not caught up in it again. But yeah, there's just like another 30 people entered the race after being gone. But yeah, so I'm just gonna walk you guys through the last 3 laps of this race. As you can see, I'm sitting second wheel, which really isn't too ideal. You look at my heart rate, I should probably be a bit further back recovering, but uh, but one of my biggest worries is kind of getting swarmed, so I always want to be in good position, but this is just too close because this guy is going to eventually stop pulling. Yeah, he's trying to flick me through, but I'm not chasing this. I don't have any teammates in this race. I'm solo, so I really have no need to chase this back. I know there's going to be other people with teams who are stronger, to chase this back. I should just be saving my energy. But I should be saving my energy really in the field, because my heart rate is still 200 beats per minute. But yeah, so people on the left start to take over to kind of speed it up. Um, oh yeah, attack or not attack, just an acceleration on the right. Not sure what he was doing, but this is one of the examples where I just lost maybe 10, 15 positions just from that acceleration, kind of not just holding my own. I should have accelerated harder with him. Um, I'm, you always have to anticipate when the pace slows that there will be a hard acceleration, and in order to not get swarmed, you have to anticipate that and accelerate with them. Um, but yeah, so now this Mike's Bikes rider, not sure how you get on Mike's Bikes as a Cat 3, but he was pretty good. He'll probably be a Cat 2 soon. I think he ends up winning this race. But yeah, he was a wheel that I was definitely looking out for. You can see how it plays out in the next lap, but he sends a flyer that I just don't latch onto, which I probably should have. But yeah, I'm kind of on the outside here trying to slot in as I just moved up some positions. And I managed to take let's see. Yeah, I managed to slot in behind this guy, I think. There we go. But yeah, it's just still a fast race. I think we averaged slightly over 27 miles an hour for this one. So for Cat 3 race, I would probably say that's around the average. So that it was especially for this technical, it was pretty fast. But overall, I wouldn't say it's too hard, despite what my heart rate looks. I think I just come off a week of really not doing any hard training. I have nationals after this weekend, this Thursday actually. So just before that, I'd taken over a week of just really chill and recovery riding because was kind of fatigued according to Training Peaks. So I was really fresh for this race, and I think that's where my heart rate. I was just pretty excited. It's been a while. It's been a while since I'd done some harder efforts, but you can see I'm back second wheel. This guy, I think he's on a team called Primal, but he had a few teammates, so I think he's just trying to keep it fast. But yeah, so this guy kind of half attacks, bringing like five riders with him. It's always these small accelerations that once one rider goes, there's always at least a few riders that latch onto him. And one rider accelerates, he brings four or five guys with him, and that's just four or five spots that you just lost just because that one rider didn't attack hard enough, kind of just attacked slow enough so people could get on their wheel, which is really just unless you're trying to go to the front, it really just doesn't make too much sense. Um, I don't attack in this race. I was feeling good and was just kind of confident in the last lap that I could try to follow a last lap move and just maintain my good position, just sprint for the podium. But I just really think I gave up too many positions in the last coming laps because we're coming into one to go. And it's still, you really, when to go, you have to be top 10. You're not going to be making up enough positions if you're not top 10. So I think I'm right about top 10. So I really have a good shot at winning here. But I think this just wasn't too difficult of a race that so a lot of people were fresh. But as you can see, United on the left, there's two guys right there kind of trying to do a lead out. That would be ideal if I had a teammate. I would just want him to sit near the front so I could sit like third, fourth wheel without having to worry about getting swarmed. But as you can see here, like look how many people are in front of me. It's coming into one to go and I'm probably like 20th. Um, so this is just really not ideal. I've just been letting a lot of people pass me. Like at this point, I would say I'm out of contention. But luckily, I think I make a good move up because I pass riders somehow. I'm not sure, but I hit 800 watts right there, and I'm 120 pounds, so that is quite a bit of weight. But as you can see, it slows up right here, and I follow this move. Yep, and I just passed 30 riders. This Mike's Bikes guy attacks, and really should. I kind of let this wheel go to this guy, but I really should have been third wheel. Yeah, and see this guy, like, I really should have been third wheel right now. If I just didn't let that wheel go, I'd be third wheel right now, and I think I could have podiumed on this race. But yeah, this Mike's Bikes rider just drills it. Um, let's see. Yeah, see how back. See this guy comes in on my inside. Oh, another rider comes on my like. Rider's just passing me. I'm not sure if this was a lack of strength or just confidence, but a gap opened in that corner, and I'm in the wind, having to do um, a lot of work here, getting gapped. This Mike's Bikes rider is still off the front, but another rider passing me on the inside. These are all positions because I think I could have held my own in the sprint against all these guys. Like I wouldn't be passed, and I wouldn't be passing necessarily. We're all pretty much going similar speeds. I just stopped sprinting here because I look behind me and I see that no one's coming. But yeah, it was. I think if I just held that third position, or even fourth. I could have let that one wheel go, but in each of those final turns, if you look back, at least one rider passed me, and that's really crucial. It's not about the strength. It's just about maintaining your position because once it gets fast, you can't let a single wheel go. Because in the sprint, that's one bike length that you need to make up, and it really just really adds up. But thanks for watching. I'll have videos over the two other Tulsa Tough races. Hopefully, they were quite interesting. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one.